Hi, very good morning to you. It's Jim from maverickstar. Warm welcome. Guys, yesterday we was looking at this chart, but I thought I wanted to just bring it back clearer to you what I'm talking about. Because if you look at where the green arrows are, you can see a more stable global movement of cargo around the world. It's a good indication of how global economies are doing when you see a lot of trade moving all around the world. And if you look from around about 2004 onwards to the present day, I've put the red arrows there, you can see that the market becomes unstable and we get a different pattern. That's what I'm trying to bring home to you. And you know, if this was an ECG measuring your arrhythmia of your heart, you would be in heart attack mode right now and probably dying. And you can't run businesses, is what I'm saying. You cannot run businesses in this manner where all of a sudden you haven't got enough cargo vessels to move the stuff around the world, and then all of a sudden you've got too many because nothing's being moved around. You know, there is at the moment thousands of cargo ships just parked up at the moment, not being used. And that's an indication that the global market yet again is coming to a grinding halt, if it hasn't already, because you can see where the present day line is on that indicator right now. So I just thought, you know, we'd talk a little bit more about this, because you know, when you do spot something of relevance, nobody else seems to be talking about it. I think it's worth just bringing it home a little bit more to you guys. What I'm trying to suggest here is that from 2004, where we see the sporadic sine wave, you know, peak sharply and drop sharply, and it continues to do that to the present day, that's an indication that something has definitely changed from before 2004. And what I'm trying to say to you is they can't fix this problem. World governments have been trying since 2004 to put this back on a more calmer pattern like it was prior to 2004, and they can't do it. Here in the UK, we must have had about 7 chancellors of the exchequer in this period of time, since, you know, then, or even more than that. You see, what's happening is they're getting past the books of our country, and even they can't fix it, and that's why they either resign or move, or, you know, or they're moved on and somebody else is given the crack of the whip to see if they can fix it. So something changed. I can't quite put my finger on it, I don't know, but what I can see is that something's changed, and since it changed from 2005, 2004 onwards, it hasn't been able to be put right. What I'm saying is you can't run businesses like this, and this is global economics. And I think if any decent analysis was done, you know, people would say, if you want to get a good idea for how global economics is doing right now, they would probably suggest the Baltic Dry Index is a good indicator for how much, you know, cargo and freight is moving around the world. So there are other issues at hand here, guys, and things to think about. You know, as the world's agricultural productive land slowly creeps offline, and we know it's been doing that, I know it's been doing that from around about, there are significant changes since 2007, let me tell you that. There are spikes in different crops from 2007, you can check if you want, which show that something dramatically changed there, and it was probably to do with climate on our planet changing at a more faster pace. If we go back to 1990, we knew there was an acceleration in the magnetic North Pole, but it doesn't show any change from 1990 to 2004. So it's highly unlikely that at that point, even though the poles were migrating faster, they wasn't significantly changing the impact of movement of perhaps cargo around the world at that point, and maybe also crops. You know, I've got a horrible feeling, a really horrible feeling, that, you know, with the way the reduction in the land and production of agriculture at the moment, and what some desperate countries are doing to try just to keep their populations fed, that we are at a point where we could start seeing, and I know this is happening already, mass famine on a scale that is probably going to reverberate in our history as on the unprecedented scale. And we need to know clearly that not only are these main three anomalies that are not even being mentioned in mainstream media. They're not mentioning the magnetic pole reversal, they're not talking about the grand solar minimum, and they're not turning about the return back to the glacial period, yet we know all these things are happening, and these are big anomalies. The last magnetic reversal, if we're talking just excursions, we are talking between 12 and 15,000 years ago. Still a big number, guys, in time. If it's a completed reversal, then we're talking about something that happened a lot longer than that, 780,000 years, and on average, before that point in time, there was a clear pattern like what we see here of reversals every 300 to 350,000 years. Something changed there, and since it changed, it hasn't gone back to normal. And we're seeing this same pattern on a lot of other things. We definitely are in great times of change, and we know that these world governments are not going to come to the assistance during great catastrophes that are going to happen. It's clear now that these things are going to happen. This is just the economy. Let's have a look at some of the other charts that we normally talk about, just to bring it home to you guys, because I think it's very serious. A different chart, a different topic, but the same end result. On the right hand side you can see where it's circled present global warming, indicating a time close to where we are right now. The chart is at the lowest point of that line, and that is a good indicator, I think, that we are about now to go back into that glacial period. You can see that during the times of the Younger Dryas we was in a glacial period, and from that point of time to now, it matches up very good with the other chart that we usually show, which is an indication of the interglacial that we've been in, that warm period for the last 12,000 years, and it's come to an end. It is anticipated that we are already 4,000 to maybe 6,000 years into the next returning glacial period, and it could come at any time now. We might even see early signs of that, what I talk about, the thermocline, where on this changing orbitable pattern that we're on, which is recognised as the Milankovitch cycle, which is the 100,000 year cycles, where our orbit changes from a spherical orbit to an elliptical orbit, and as we go a little bit further out, we could pop that point where we go back through a thermocline, which means things rapidly start to cool. Now, guys, I know a lot of you are in just as terrible situation as myself. We haven't got the money to buy a small holding, and therefore it's not easy for us to become self-sufficient and off the grid. We just can't do it. And a lot of us have got responsibilities that even if we could afford, we can't do that in the drop of an eye. But we have to start to realise that these things are going to happen, and we have to do what we can. So, I'm saying to you, I'm in the same boat as most of you guys. I know that 95 or more % of you are finding it financially difficult at this point in time. But there are some small things that we can do that don't cost a great deal, and I think that we should, look into those. Simple bug out bags and simple things that can go in there that don't cost a lot of money, and a small food storage. Include an emergency blankets, one for each of your loved ones, some form of lighting equipment. You know, you can look at these videos. I'm not an expert on bug out bags. I just made sure that I'd got what I would need, you know, should everything stop functioning tomorrow. As it has done, you know, if we look at recent events in Mali, I noticed somebody had mentioned this in the description a few times over the last few days. Horrible situation. Where is the aid for those people? Hasn't been seen yet, but at the same time, you know, Congress can raise another 200 million in support for bombs, missiles and bullets for Ukraine. Where is the help for their own people? This is why, I mean, we saw this in Katrina as well. You know, those floods, we've seen it in many situations. The government remains silent on them. You know, the least they say, the least committed they will be to doing something about it. So the best policy is what we've seen. They keep silent. Get it in the media for just a short space of time and get it out. A lot of people lost their lives in Mali, and you know, it is what I keep repeating on this channel. It is just a matter of time before these things are at our door, knocking. If there was a bit of food storage, if there had been a bug out bag, you know, some of these people that lost everything in those fires a few weeks ago would at least have something. And to have a little is absolutely better than having nothing at all. You know, in an ideal world, we would all probably have 1 acre, a little holding on there, you know, some chickens, growing our own fruit and vegetables, and you know, we could be working our way to being self-sufficient. And this is not easy, trust me. To be self-sufficient is very hard. You know, it requires skills, learnings of, you know, various things. You can't just set up these things overnight. It's right, I watch another channel, and you know, he said that he knew people that had been at this for 15 years and still hadn't got it right. So it's not easy. But I have seen also on YouTube small little groups of people that have come together and have built something together that was affordable to do it in that little way, and that these little communities are thriving, and they're even earning money out of some of the things that they make, like tinctures and things like that. You know, that they grow themselves, and they've developed a little bit of a business as well. You know, there's a comment section. You know, if you've got ideas, you know, use the comment section here to, you know, maybe get yourselves into little groups, maybe to share great ideas, and you know, just share those thoughts between all of you, because there might just be one person that says something and you'll go, damn, you know, I never even thought about that. I guarantee you those things always happen. I could tell you how I interpret these maps, but I'll just tell you a few things about these charts that we're looking at. Where the circles are on these charts is the regions of our planet with the highest magnetic intensity, and where the arrows are is the lowest magnetic intensity. And we can also see that where the circles are on the top left are also the regions of our planet that are coldest at this present time. Now, this has not been pointed out by any other scientist or organisation out there. They have not drew the same conclusions as what I'm presenting here to you. But it cannot be any coincidence that where the coldest temperatures are also in the regions where the highest magnetic intensity is, and the warmer regions on our planet is where the lowest magnetic intensity is. Can't be like that. The patterns on the top left and the bottom left charts are almost identical, yet not one single organisation has came out and mentioned this. Why is that? Guys, we are very lucky to have this observatory, and we're very lucky to have actual equipment that is monitoring these anomalies that we have got. That was made possible by you guys. You know, we a dedicated website, we regularly do videos on updates on YouTube, and we regularly get that equipment and put it to use, and then with the findings of what we gather, we share it freely. Okay, there is a donate button on this website, and we do ask for people to support us, but largely it's free. Around 98% of the people that watch and view the content on YouTube and on this website every week don't have to pay. It's as simple as that. And I love that fact, because I know by doing it this way, we're not barring other people in other countries and those people that simply are beneath the breadline and cannot afford. I wouldn't take $1 off anyone in that situation. But I know that there are a few of us that are more fortunate than others. And you know, I reach out to you guys because I know that you can make a difference in keeping this observatory performing. I have noticed, I've got to say, over the last couple of months, you know, a little decline in the support that we get. It would be, you know, something amazing if we could just bump it up a little bit and keep things going. And with that, guys, I'm going to end the video here and say, guys, you take care of your loved ones. Please think about some of the things we talk about in these videos, and as always, bye for now.